let me start this video. And like I said in class, I'm not going to do all of them, but I'll do quite a few of them. Okay, so I'm going to take the first one. I will do the first one. And let me find some room here. If you set it up this way, you get 972 inside and 0.09 outside. Now, to make this easier, one of the things we can do is move the decimal 2 places over, or the idea here is multiply by 100. If you multiply by 100, you actually get 9. Okay, so we can take the shortcut, move the decimal 1, 2 spaces to the right, so that 0.09 becomes a whole number, right? And we can now divide. And likewise, sorry, if I move the decimal 2 places over here, I have to move it 2 places over here. That becomes 972. If you think about it, it's 972 divided by 0. If I write it as a fraction, you get this. Now, remember, whatever I do to the top, I must do to the bottom. So if I multiply this by 100, I'm going to get 9. And if I multiply this by 100, I get 972. So that's the idea. So it's much easier to solve this than this, right? So that's what I did. And now I'm ready to divide. 9 goes into 9 one time, so it's 9. Bring the 7 down. Can 9 go into 7? No, it goes into 7 0 time. Bring the 2 down, and 9 can go into 72 8 times, which is 9 times 8, 72. And I get a 108. So it's a negative divided by a negative, so I'm definitely going to get a positive, and positive 108. This one's easy, right? It's a positive divided by a negative, so it's a negative. 56 divided by 7 is 8. Let me do number 3 here. So 3, it's a complex fraction because it's a fraction at the bottom, right? So it's like it's a whole number divided by a fraction. But I think it's easier if you look at it as this way. If you change that and look at it this way, okay, it's much easier to see. So anytime you have something like that, especially with number 3 and number 5 and number 6, change it this way, the horizontal way. Now, it's a whole number divided by a fraction. Okay, so please put the 10 over 1 divided by negative 1 over 5th. Right? Do not simplify yet. Okay, I know I tell you to simplify before multiplying. So it's we still haven't changed this to multiplication problem. So let's change it. 10 over 1 times, and we're going to use the reciprocal, 5 over, so it's a negative, okay, over 1. Now we're ready to simplify, if possible. There's nothing to simplify because we're looking for something in the numerator and something in the denominator, right? So nothing can be simplified. So we can just multiply across. 10 times negative 5 is negative 50. 1 times 1 is over 1, and negative 50 over 1 is just negative 50. Final answer is negative 50. This one I'm going to skip, but you know, it's a simple division problem, right? 91 divided by 13, it's going to be a positive, and I believe it's 7. Okay. Let's take number 5. Number 5, I'm just going to write it. So again, I think it's easier if you write it like this. So this is negative, and negative 2 3/5. That's the same thing as this. Let's change our mixed numbers to improper fractions. So 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So you get 13 over 4 over here, negative. Right, it doesn't really matter. Actually, you can remember that this is the same thing as this, which is the same thing as this. They will all give you a negative answer. Okay, so it doesn't really matter where you put the negative. So negative 13 over 4 divided by 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13 over 5. We're not simplifying. Remember, we simplify when we multiply. So it's negative 13 over 4 times 5 over 13. Now we can simplify. This 13 and this 13 will be crossed out, right? 13 divided by 13 is 1. 13 divided by 13 is 1. Now I'm ready to multiply. So it's a negative times a positive, so it's going to give me a negative. 1 times 5 is 5, and 4 times 1 is 4. You can leave it like that, or if you change the mixed number, 4 goes into 5 1 times, 1 left over 4, negative. We'll do another complex fraction here, and number 6, and again, it's 5 2/3 divided by negative 7/8. And let's change this to an improper. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 2 is 17 over 3, divided by negative 7/8. We can now change that to a multiplication problem. It's going to get 17 over 3 times negative 8 over 17. Over 7, sorry. I can't simplify anything. 17 and 3, no. 17 and 7, no. 8 and 7, no. 8 and 3, no. Well, I can take care of my signs. It's a positive times a negative, which is a negative. 3 times 7 at the bottom is 21. And 17 times 8 is 17 times 8 on the top is a 6 and a 5. And 136 over negative 21. I can change that to a mixed number, but I'm going to leave it like that, only because I don't want to make the video too long. That's simple. 7 I'm going to skip because that's simple. Just put this over 1, right? And then change it to multiplication problem. This one, okay, let me write it down. So it's 52.4, and I can divide that by 0.25. Again, if we want to change the 0.25 into a whole number, so we're going to move this decimal 2 over. So that's going to give me 25. If I move 2 over outside, I move 2 over inside. So it's 1, 2. There's empty space. I add a 0. So that's going to give me 5 to 5,240. 25 goes into 52 2 times, which is 50. Subtract 2 left over. 4 comes down. 25 goes into 24. No, so I put a 0. Bring a 0 down. 25 goes in 24 9 times, which is going to be 225. Subtract. I'm going to have 15 left over. Bring it. So I'm going to add a decimal, add a 0, bring that 0 down. Push my decimal up there. 25 goes into 50 nicely, 6 times. Final answer, 209.6, positive because they're both negative. So my answer is positive 209. Okay. Fill in the blank to make a true statement. So here I have negative 1 over 7 divided by, so let me pick an easier example. Let me pick 10 divided by blank equals 5. So if that was the question, what can we use, what other fact family can we use to find this missing number? So we can create fact families out of this, right? 10 divided by blank equals 5, or 10 divided by 5 is going to give me my blank number. So same thing here. I can take this, and to find my missing number, I can take this, negative 1 over 7, divided by negative 14 to find our missing number here. So here's your setup. Let's change that to multiplication. Times, remember the 14 is over 1, 1 over 14, and this is all negative. I can simplify, but there's nothing to simplify. It's a negative times a negative, so it's a positive. 1 times 1 is 1, and 7 times 14 is like 98. Final answer. So my mystery number is 1 over 98. So 1/7 divided by 1 over 98 will give you negative 14. Let's do, again, this one. So again, let me put an example on top. 10 divided by blank equals 5. So what would we do to find this number? We would take and divide 10 divided by 5 to find our missing number, right? So we can use this fact family, right, to this fact to find our missing number. So likewise here, I can take 0.25 divided by this negative 0.25 to find my missing number. So if I set that up, it's 0.25 let me just move this over. 0.25 divided by negative 0.25, and you obviously know what the answer is already. So move this decimal 2 over, it becomes 25. Move this decimal 2 over, it becomes 25, and 25 goes 25 one time. So, but this has to be negative, right? Negative 1. Okay. Beginning of 1996, a glacier lost an average of 3.7 meters of thickness each year. Find a total change in thickness by the end of 2012. So every year, this glacier is losing. So it's going to, and this is how we're going to refer to that number, right? Because it's losing, so it's negative connotation here. So negative 3.7. So we want to find how much it changed in all these years. So 2012. 1996, how many years is that? It's going to be 4 years, 1996. 12 divided by 6, what is it, 6? 6, 4, 12 and 6, shouldn't it be 18 years? No, 12 plus 16 years. So final answer, 16 years. So if it's going down by negative 3.7 meters every year, and we multiply by 16, we can find out how much the thickness of the glacier melted away, I guess. 6 times 7 is 42, goes 4, 18, 22, this is 3, this is 7, remember we're going to put a 0 here, plus 2, 9, 5. How many decimal places should my product have? Well, my factors, the numbers being multiplied, I have 1 decimal place here, none, 0.
Please excuse the interruption. This is a soft lockdown drill. This is a soft lockdown drill.
1 decimal
Please take
place.
appropriate action.
So, so 1 decimal place right here. Okay, I'm gonna have to pause the video. Okay, continuing. Hopefully, everything's okay. So here, this one. What is his mistake? Let's find out what his mistake is. So he has negative 3/4, and he was going to divide that by 4/3, right? So first thing he should have done was write it like this to make it less confusing. And then I'm going to change this division problem to multiplication. I'm going to change that to reciprocal, which is 3/4. And we can already tell at this stage what his mistake was. When he changed it to multiplication, he didn't use the reciprocal. He kept it at 4/3 when he should have used 3/4. Okay. 11. A hot air balloon descended 96.6 meters. So the balloon was all the way up, and it's descended, which means it went down 99.6 meters in 12 seconds. So how many meters did it go down per second? That's what we're looking for. So obviously it's a division problem. So we're going to represent the descent is 99.6 by negative because it's it's going down, right? And we're going to divide that by 12. So set up your problem. 99.6 divided by 12. 12 goes into 99 8 times, which is 96. 3 left over, bring the decimal up, which I forgot. This is 6 over here. 12 goes to 36 3 times, and that's going to give us a remainder of 0. So what was his rate of descent in meters per second? His rate of descent in meters per second was negative 8.3 meters per second. Now, I'm going to take the negative out. So your answer was that he's 8.3 meters of descent. So if by writing that, okay, because distance can't be negative, right? 8.3 meters of descent. So that takes care of the negative.
The soft lockdown drill has been lifted. The soft lockdown drill has been lifted. Thank you, everyone.
Water pail, a bucket, okay, has a small hole in it, and you notice it has drained a total of 3.5 liters in 4 days. What's the average change? So again, you got a bucket and it's losing water. And how much water did it change over the past 4 days? So you had this much. I'm going to divide this by 4 and 0. The decimal 4 goes 35 8 times, which is 32. 3 left over, bring a 0 down. 8 goes into 37 times, which is 28. 2 left over, you can bring another 0 down. And 4 goes into 25 times evenly. So it's a change of 875 liters per day. Okay, negative 0.75 liters per day. Okay. All right, so change a loss. So if you write loss, then I don't have to put the negative. It's loss of 0.875 liters per day. Describe a real-world situation that can be represented by the quotient of negative 85 divided by 15. Oof. So I lost. So I can write a story. I lost $85 over the last 15 days. How much money did I lose every day? How much money did I lose each day for the past 15 days? So you can definitely divide 85 by 15, and that would be 7. So that tells me that I lost, how much dollars I lost. So I can say I lost $7 each day. Okay, and by putting the word lost, we know that it's a negative number. Okay, so that takes care of the front page, most of it. Here in the back, I think most of this you guys will be okay. Okay. Remember, these are all division problems, fraction-wise, so we have to change it to multiplication. I've got time for a couple, so let me do a couple of the big ones. Let me do this one. So that becomes 18 over 19 times 95 over 12. It's going to be a positive answer because both numbers are positive. Is there anything I can simplify? I can simplify 18 and 12. I can divide 18 by 6, which is 3. 12 by 6, which is 2. 19 times, I can do by 5. 19 divided by 19 is 1, and 95 divided by 19 is 5. I don't think there's anything else I can simplify. So 3 times 5 on top is 15. 1 times 2 at the bottom is 2. 15 over 2, or 7.5. Let's do 24. 16 over 21 times negative 7 over 4. I use the reciprocal. A lot of simplifying I can do. 7 divided by 7 is 1. 21 divided by 7 is 3. 4 divided by 4 is 1. And 16 divided by 4 is 4. I'm done simplifying. It's going to be negative because it's a positive times a negative. 4 times 1 is 4. And at the bottom, 3 times 1 is 3. So that gives me 1 1/3. Okay. That should be, the rest should be okay. Even the bottom ones. Let me pick a couple of these ones. Let me pick 73. So 73, I have room here. 13.584, and I'm going to divide that by 12. And again, I know my quotient. This one's going to be a positive answer because they're both negative. 0.12. I'm moving the decimal twice. That becomes a 12. If I move the decimal 2 times, it becomes 13.584. The decimal moves twice to the side. So let's start dividing. 12 goes 13 one time. Bring 1 left over, bring the 5 down. 12 goes 15 again one time. 3 down, bring 3 left over, bring the 8 down. 12 goes 38 3 times, which is 36. 2 left over, bring the 4 down. 12 goes to 4 22 times. So final answer, 113.12. Okay. Oh, and I'll definitely do one of the bottom ones. So yesterday when we were doing the multiplying, remember, so if you had 100, let's see, 5.734 times 100, right? We're making the number bigger. So when we're making the number bigger, we'll move the decimal has to move to the right. That's the little trick here, right? You can multiply it out, or learn the pattern that every time you multiply it by something that's base 10, you just move the decimal over as many times as there are zeros here. So in this case, there were 2 zeros. Move it twice, and our answer would have been 573.4, right? We gave them a bigger number. Well, with division, it's backwards. Yes, you can divide all those, but with division, let's do the first one, 95.68 divided by 100. So if you're dividing this, you're making this 100 times smaller. So if with multiplication, we move to the right, with division, we're going to move to the left. And we're going to move again to the left. Number of spaces is going to be determined by the number of zeros. And there's 2 zeros here, so the decimal is going to go to the left once and twice. So my final answer is going to be 0.9568. And you can tell that this is definitely a smaller number than 9568. Let's do 81. 81 was 0. Actually, let's do them. 468 divided by 100. And again, with multiplication, we move to the right. With division, we're going to move to the left. So let's move the decimal twice to the left. 1, 2. Here's my new decimal. We put a placeholder here and a placeholder here. So let's clean that up. It's 0.00468. It's a much tinier number than originally had. And I might as well do that one. So 5.683 divided by 1,000. So I'm going to move 3 spaces to the left. 1, 2, 3. Put a 0, put a 0, put a 0. And clean that up. It's going to be 0.005683. That's my final answer. Okay, so you have time. I'm going to do one quick last one. Let me pick 53. Let me change these two to improper fractions. times and plus. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 1, 21 over 4 negative, divided by 2 times 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8 over 3. Do not simplify yet. So it's 21 over 4 times 3 over 8. Can I simplify anything? I can't. So I just multiply across. Negative times, they're both negative, sorry. So it's going to be a positive answer. 4 times 8 is 32. 3 times 21 is 63 on the top. And you can change this to a mixed number, but I'm not because I ran out of time. But you get the idea. Hopefully this helped. Okay? I'm stopping the video.